Wow.
You're sweating.
I know. And you're like, steam's coming out of your head. You know, making the decision about how to have Medicare work for you as you travel, especially since we're seniors, obviously. Well, I mean, I'm a senior, but I'm not on Medicare yet. You're a senior and you are on Medicare, so we're kind of in, a little bit different situation. But trying to figure out how to make Medicare work for you as you travel, my God, you have to have a PhD to figure this out.
Yeah, I never expected this to be such a complicated and difficult decision. So I'm going to be turning 65 soon, and there's a big decision. You're going to be on Medicare, and the decision tree, the decision process, I've got it figured out.
Yeah.
But it took a long time and a lot of input from friends and family
and brokers and websites
to guide me in the right direction. And we want to make it easier for you, so we want to give you kind of cut through a lot of crap and maybe make this easier for you making a decision about what's the best Medicare option for you.
Okay, so before we begin, for the last 2 weeks we have been doing a lot of Medicare, medical insurance for global travelers coverage. So if you want to know what we're doing for me or what we were doing for Steve up to his birthday, which comes in just a few months, you can look at our video about Ginky, which is what I use, and then our video that also is about all of the decisions we made prior to Steve becoming 65 and being on Medicare, all the decisions we have made for global insurance while we travel. So that's what's working for me. I'm 58, and that's what I will be doing, más o menos, more or less between now and when I turn 65.
Right.
And in the meantime, we are going to continue to travel full time.
Exactly.
All right, Steve.
A little disclaimer: we are not insurance agents. We are not insurance brokers. We are just people who are consumers of different insurance products, and we want to share our experience with you.
Yeah, so Steve is a really neat, really smart guy. He's a spreadsheet guy. He likes to analyze. He gathers data from everywhere, analyzes all, spins around. I'm over here like, oh my God, honey, would you just make a decision? But it's really hard. It's been really complicated. And this has been about a 4 or 5 month process of you gathering data to be able to give a video to you guys so we can help you decide on how to use Medicare when you travel. Now, some of you may already be in Medicare, and you may be in GAP BC 9Z 27X, whatever, and you're now thinking about traveling, and you might need to make some changes to your Medicare. So you will need to make your changes when the open enrollment periods happen.
Right.
For those of you who have not gotten to Medicare yet, or you're thinking about Medicare, or you're in the process that we're in, this video is very actionable for you right now. So come along as Steve teaches you how to make the sausage on his decision to get to Medicare, and we promise you at the end of the video, Steve will tell you what decision he made and why on his Medicare. So why don't you start at the beginning of Medicare?
Yeah, that was just, again, a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but the first thing that I heard, because I currently have global international healthcare coverage, when I heard that I was going to have to pay $185 a month premium for Part B, I said, hell no.
Wait. So you're familiar with the alphabet soup. So number one is when you turn 65 in the U.S., Medicare is free. That's what we've been told for our whole life, right? Well, Medicare is free, except it only covers you for inpatient care. So you're in the hospital, you have to stay in the hospital for 1,000,000 years. It covers you for that.
It sounds like you've been doing this research.
But then, what's the $185 for? I mean, if Medicare's free, what's the $185
That's for outpatient care. That's Part B.
Right.
And there is a premium that everybody has to pay. And what I found out then is if you decline Part B coverage, there's a penalty. Penalty. And the penalties can add up because I know eventually I'm going to want it, and I'm going to pay exceedingly more than everybody else is paying because I decided to delay it. So it was kind of the first decision. Is the first like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to pay $185 a month. Plus, you have to get a drug plan.
Wait. Maybe he's going to ask you a question about the $185 a month.
Yeah.
Does that mean it covers you 100% for your outpatient?
No. So you're still only covered 80%.
Okay. So all right.
Which we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yes.
Okay, so next.
So anyway, so we'll talk about the drug plan later. That's an additional subject. So
So starting with the fact, starting with the fact
Yes.
that you know you're going to have to pay $185 a month in order to have inpatient and outpatient care in the U.S. That's kind of where you started with. All right, now how do I get this to help me globally when I travel?
Exactly.
See?
So you're gonna have to bear with me because I don't normally wear my glasses when I'm on video, but I made some notes here and I've got to refer to my notes here.
Yeah.
So my first decision point was what kind of international coverage can I get with Medicare? And I know there's a lot of exceptions, and I found like these crazy things. There's like 1 in a million people are never going to get international coverage with Medicare unless you do something like get a Part C, an Advantage plan. And there are Advantage plans that have limited coverage for emergency medical care overseas.
Okay, so you're saying you have to get Medicare plus Part B plus Part C in order to have limited coverage internationally for critical like accidents and stuff, right?
Exactly. But you think about it, we're getting serious things, emergency care. And that's the thing that I care about the most. And fundamentally, because if I can make a decision about my health care and I can go back to the United States where I'm covered because I'm paying for my Medicare and Part B, then I'm going to do that. So that's kind of, again, one of these basic things that we're talking about. Anyways, looking at Advantage plans and talking to friends about Advantage plans, I started hearing horror stories about you're in network, you're out of network, how much does it cost, that the insurance companies decline your coverage, and just really headaches and issues that I didn't want to have to deal with.
Can we take a break for a second? Can we have, I need a drink. Because I'm going to grab my water. And we forgot to introduce ourselves.
We did forget to introduce ourselves. I'm Steve.
I'm Chris. We're with EatWalkLearn. We've been traveling the world since May of 21, full-time with our 2 carry-ons and a bag and a plan. You can get my book about it, 2 carry-ons and a plan, or you can also get my book, Nomad Life. Anyway.
Is that vodka?
No, it really is water. I'm drinking water.
It is. Do you have a cup of tea?
Yeah, grab a cup of tea.
Okay.
So you're looking at the
Advantage plan.
Advantage plan, Part
scared.
C. Part C, you hear all these horror stories and people love it doesn't work. You have to have in-network, out-network, blah 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 blah.
And a friend of mine said, don't do Advantage. You've got to do a gap plan because Medicare only covers 80% of your coverage. There are plans, a Part G. And we'll get into a lot of details, but a Part G or a Part N that covers the part that Medicare doesn't cover. And
you have to pay extra for that, right?
You do have to pay extra for that. You don't have additional, you don't have networks, anybody that accepts Medicare, this Part G or Part N will work to cover the gaps that original Medicare doesn't cover.
Okay, so what you're saying is, so the gap is that 20% that it doesn't cover. So then you get a second alphabet soup of N or G, and that then covers the 20% on your outpatient and inpatient care. Okay.
So everybody's situation is going to be different. You just got to get that out there. We're residents of Texas. Every state's different. There's different plans by county. So this is really complicated. But I just want to give you a number that for me, I found a gap plan that I liked that would have added about additional $100 per month to my $185 that I'm already paying for Part B. So now we're up to $285.
And you're not covered outside the U.S.
Exactly. The original question was, what covers me internationally? And although there's some limited coverage, there's 30 days, maybe 60 days. Again, I'm not sure if plans are different. That's got back to my original anxiety is we're going to be traveling. We're going to be outside of the United States. And if I'm not going to have any coverage at all, I'm going to need to buy an additional policy on top of that. And I started looking at some additional global medical policies.
I need to slow you down again. I mean, this is in your head, and you're like, it's not in my head. Okay, so you're looking at the situation where you have Medicare for inpatient, Medicare for outpatient, Medicare for gap, right? So
Right.
that was $285.
Yes, and assuming
hold
that
on.
no international coverage.
Right, and then you don't have
for-
any international coverage. So now you're thinking, I got to go get an international medical policy like you have now before you've got Medicare, right?
Right.
That you're going to have to. So that's going to be an additional premium on top of that. So what did you figure out about that?
Yeah, so what I found out is that as you get older, these international global health insurance policies exponentially start increasing in premiums, because what we've experienced up until this point, I think, has been pretty affordable. Again, you can look up or click below at some of our previous videos that we've done on this. I was looking at $500 to $800 a month.
Do you have an example, actual
I do
example
have
of how
an example,
like
'cause I did get a
62
quote.
versus 65 or something?
Yes, so I got a quote at age 62 with IMG Global was $362 per month.
Okay.
Kind of surprising because we used to have
Wait.
IMG Global.
Yeah, we used to have it. Moving on.
At age 65, I ran the same quote. It doubles to $725 per
Right.
month.
So the point here is not that one was 300 and one was 700. The point is that there's a big difference between being 62 and being 65. Right? So 65 seems to be this magic number, or this not magic number in the insurance industry that rates drastically change.
Right. So
Okay.
here's somebody who, I'm cheap. I don't want to say that on video, but
Cheap!
I didn't
You
want to
just
pay.
did.
I didn't want to pay the $185, and now I'm looking at a scenario where I'm going to pay $285 for U.S. coverage and $700 for outside of U.S. coverage. So then again, it's like no. I got to keep looking. So back to my original question of what Medicare can cover me internationally, and then a friend of mine, did a shout out to Nancy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for suggesting a Part C give back
Give back.
plan.
Wait. The
So-
government gives and takes away. What is that? How that goes?
So here is an Advantage plan with that's called a give back plan. And what the interesting thing is that there are 18 plans that were on Medicare.gov that were available in my area. What do you guess the number 18 plan was?
Do it. Scroll 7 pages until you see it.
This give back plan. It has international coverage
Woohoo!
for emergencies, which is what I'm looking for. And it has other benefits like vision and dental.
Maybe you can actually get rid of your $2 your cheaters from the grocery store.
It's just for reading otherwise. And it gives back, I haven't actually, it pays back $50 per month of my $185 Part D premium. So here we go. I'm going to get an Advantage plan.
Wait. You just said 100. It pays back $50 on your Part D. Didn't you mean Part
B.
B? Part B as in boy.
B as in boy.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $185 per month, I'm going to pay $135 per month with an Advantage plan that has international emergency coverage. This is what I've been looking for. This is what took me.
Like, we need to do like streamers and bows and
know,
stars
I know.
and things.
Now I know there's going to be people who say, "Oh no, that's a bad plan. You don't want that plan." But I've looked into this in great detail. It's a PPO. I know I have in-network versus out of network, but because I'm a traveler, I don't have to be in Texas. I don't have to be in my hometown in order to use this. There are certain limitations in order to, have like referrals and things like that. I totally understand that. And I feel comfortable knowing that I can travel internationally and have emergency coverage if I need it. I hope I don't need it. But if I do have a medical situation that I want to take care of that's not an emergency basis, I'm going to go back to the United States, follow the rules, make sure I stay in network, make sure that I get the coverage that I need, and my Advantage plan is going to cover me.
Right, and the reason why this works for us is we're not living in the U.S. We're not going to the doctors weekly or whatever. We don't have regular routine care that we need. We don't have critical conditions that we need.
Chronic.
Chronic conditions that we need. So we don't need to have we're not so concerned about the accessibility and the reliability of a particular doctor or a particular hospital or a particular situation that we're in because of our diseases that we may have. So if we were living in the U.S. and we had regular doctors we need to go to and whatever, this plan probably wouldn't be the plan for us. But because our lifestyle is that we are out of the U.S. most of the year, every once in a while we come back, we're not using the U.S. medical care. We're not in a situation that we need routine care. We don't need to be that picky about which doctors or wherever that we need to go to, right?
Yeah. And again, everybody's situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
And something bad might happen. Again, I'm getting to this age where I'm probably not going to live forever.
Don't say it.
So this is a plan that I feel comfortable with. Can I change my mind? The insurance companies try to make you think that you can't change your mind, but the additional research that I've done is that during your enrollment period,
right,
if I want to switch to a different Advantage plan, or if I even decide that I want to go to a gap plan, I know there's limitations, and I know people are going to say, wait a second, you have to go through underwriting. I understand those limitations, and I'm willing to take that risk if I want to switch, when I want to switch to a different plan.
Right. So the bottom line here is, right now, you're a couple months before you turn 65, you're currently paying about 100, how much are you paying, 185, 150, something like that? 185 for global medical coverage right now with Ginky, which he still qualifies for until he turns 65. Actually, you can continue with Ginky, but the rates go up at 65. So then he switches over to Medicare, and his expenses actually go down because of the give back. So you're going to be about $135 a month. And he's going to get the medical coverage that he needs worldwide in emergencies. Now, what's the situation where you need like a month long of outpatient care?
Yeah, this is a perfect example because we talked about this quite a bit in our last video about the cost of healthcare around the world.
Yeah.
And we've been traveled extensively in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and also places like Turkey, Mexico, places where healthcare is high quality and very affordable.
Right, so in the last video, we gave some examples of, for example, if you had appendicitis and had to have an appendectomy. In Vietnam, it was $1,500. In Spain, it was $4,000. In Turkey, it was $5,000. In the States, it was $25,000, I think. You can refer back to the video. Also, we talked about having a valve replacement. Again, the prices ranged from a couple $1,000s in Vietnam to $100,000 in the U.S. So our plan going forward is if Steve, and same with me, if both of us can get our outpatient care taken care of internationally, it's good. We're going to rely on paying out of pocket and taking care of those expenses. For me, I'll still have global medical insurance. I could probably use my insurance to pay for my outpatient stuff. But for Steve, he will not have it. He will have to pay out of pocket, or will make the decision to come back to the U.S. and he can continue his care in the U.S.
Right.
Right.
And this is a tough decision, guys. This is not easy, but it's a fact. It is. It's important, and having the right health care and having the right insurance is critical, especially as we reach these ages.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good decision that will work for us.
I do want to add, we may be talking about this from a negative point of view of how much we have to cost and all this stuff. We truly want to honor how lucky and advantaged we are to be able to have the flexibility to make these decisions, to travel around the world, to find medical care that we want to have. We understand there's people that can't do that. We honor that as well, and we're just very grateful and want to throw out a lot of gratitude to the fact that we have choices here that some people in the world don't have these choices. So we are very gracious and have a lot of gratitude about that.
Right.
So
yes.
All right.
If anybody has any questions and wants to get more detail on this, two things: you can please put a comment below. But also, we have a Facebook group, and our Facebook group is very active in talking about these types of things for travelers. And we're going to put the link down below for that Facebook group as well.
And also on our website, we talk about medical care as well. So you can go to EatWalkLearn.com and just search medical, Medicare, medical insurance, anything that has to do with medicine, and you'll see many articles come up about medical care as you travel. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope we have made simplified things here rather than complicated things, and we will see you next week.